Have you ever noticed that some people seem to weather crises, betrayals, failures and pressures without breaking, while others crumble in the face of much smaller problems? Most believe this happens due to luck, talent, or favorable circumstances. But this is one of the most dangerous lies ever sold to society. The truth is that there is a set of principles that separates those who control their own destiny from those who live being controlled by it. And the most frightening thing is that most never learn these rules. They grow up believing that kindness will be rewarded, that effort will always be recognized, and that the world works fairly. It doesn't. Machiavelli understood something that few people have the courage to accept. Reality doesn't reward intentions, it rewards preparation. No matter how intelligent, kind, or well-intentioned someone is, if they don't develop inner strength, discipline, and the ability to see the world as it truly is, they will end up becoming prey to those who have developed these skills. It sounds harsh, but observe the reality around you. How many people live manipulated by their own emotions? How many abandon dreams out of fear? How many surrender control of their own lives to external circumstances? In this video, you'll discover principles that transform an ordinary person into someone virtually impossible to control. Principles that strengthen the mind, discipline the body, eliminate emotional weaknesses, and create a presence that commands respect without needing approval. Some of these teachings may challenge everything you've believed until now, but perhaps that's exactly why they work. And when you understand the logic behind them, you'll begin to see the world and yourself in a completely different way. If something inside you awakened while listening, don't ignore that feeling. This channel isn't about videos, it's about memories. Remember who you were before the fear, before the exhaustion, before the silence. Each new video here is a different reflection of your own soul, an invitation to understand what the world never taught you. The power you seek outside has always been within you. If you feel that this journey speaks to what lives silently within you, sign up now. Not to follow yet another creator, but to reconnect with something the world tried to make you forget. Because here, every word was made to heal, each reflection to awaken, and each video serves as a reminder. You are not alone on the path back to yourself. Click on subscribe and turn the algorithm into a daily reminder of who you really are. Most people grew up believing that strength is something visible, muscles, money, influence, status, titles. But it only takes observing reality for a few years to realize that many seemingly powerful men crumble in the face of the first major adversity. True strength doesn't appear in photographs, nor can it be measured by wealth. It emerges when everything goes wrong, and yet someone keeps moving forward. It's the ability to remain steadfast while others panic. Machiavelli understood this deeply when he argued that decisions should be based on real human nature, not on comfortable illusions. After all, life doesn't ask if someone is prepared, it simply tests. And when that test arrives, the appearance of virtue built up over years matters little. What matters is inner resilience. It's the ability to withstand pressure without losing direction. It's continuing to act when motivation disappears. It's remaining rational when everyone around becomes emotional. Those who possess this strength rarely need to announce it. Their presence speaks for itself. And there's a reason why so few people develop this quality. Almost everyone has been trained to seek comfort, not resilience. Consider someone who has weathered bankruptcy, betrayal, illness, or devastating loss and managed to rebuild their life. What this person possesses is not just courage. There is a silent will that refuses to accept defeat as their identity. While many expend energy trying to appear strong, they focus their efforts on becoming strong. There is a huge difference between these two things. The first depends on the opinion of others. The second depends solely on one's own discipline. This is where the concept of virtù and fortuna arises. Fortuna can change without warning. Today it favors someone, tomorrow it favors another. But virtù remains. It is the ability to adapt, resist, and act independently of circumstances. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, teaches exactly this. Expecting justice from life is naivete. Preparing for any scenario is wisdom. Those who understand this logic stop seeking security in external factors and begin to build it internally. And when this understanding finally sets in, an inevitable question begins to arise. If true strength is born from resistance, then isn't excessive comfort silently weakening most people? There's a trap that destroys more dreams than failure: comfort. Not the healthy comfort that allows one to rest after a battle, but that permanent state where someone avoids any situation that causes discomfort, risk, or growth. It's curious to observe how many people believe that life automatically rewards those who are kind, polite, or well-intentioned. But reality rarely works that way. Machiavelli warned that the world doesn't operate according to romantic ideals, but according to concrete forces. Politics guided by reality, not ideals, requires one to see the world as it really is. And the truth is simple. Nobody receives what they deserve. They receive what they manage to conquer, protect, and sustain. It may seem harsh to hear this, but ignoring this truth is even more dangerous. While some spend years waiting for recognition, others are developing skills. While some await opportunities, others are creating opportunities. Life doesn't distribute rewards based on intention. It responds to action. And those who hide behind comfort end up becoming invisible to the possibilities that could completely transform their destiny. Just look at any extraordinary person in history. None of them were shaped by comfort. None built strength by living only in safe environments. Discomfort was the silent teacher of them all. A simple example can be seen in someone who decides to wake up an hour earlier every day to study a valuable skill. In the first few days, the body complains. The mind negotiates, creative excuses arise. But it is precisely in this friction that transformation occurs. The same applies to those who start training, undertaking a new venture, learning a new language, or facing an old fear. Comfort will always present convincing arguments to remain where it is. After all, the human mind is programmed to conserve energy. However, constant adaptability demands the opposite, deliberate movement towards the unknown. Those who understand this stop seeking an easy life and begin to build a strong life. And it is at this moment that an even more uncomfortable realization arises. Perhaps waiting for pain to arrive is not the smartest strategy. Perhaps there is a much more powerful way to grow before life itself decides to impose its lessons. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid any form of suffering. They run from effort, postpone difficult conversations, ignore challenges, and create routines designed to minimize discomfort. The problem is that life has a cruel habit. It always demands what someone has voluntarily refused to learn. Those who avoid small difficulties today often end up facing great difficulties tomorrow. That's why strong men don't wait for adversity to knock on their door. They seek it out in controlled doses. They choose pain before pain chooses them. It seems contradictory, but it is precisely this logic that separates the resilient from the fragile. Machiavelli understood that preparation is always less costly than improvisation in the face of chaos. The calculated use of force begins with the ability to strengthen oneself before the need arises. It's like a warrior sharpening his sword during peace. He doesn't wait for the battle to begin to discover his limitations. Each voluntary challenge becomes an opportunity for expansion. Each discomfort faced by choice diminishes the impact of the inevitable suffering that life will eventually present. And the more someone practices this, the more they realize that the fear was much more in their imagination than in reality. Think of someone who decides to run 5 kilometers when they could comfortably stay on the couch. Or someone who chooses to study for 2 hours while others are distracted. Or even someone who deliberately exposes themselves to uncomfortable situations to develop courage, such as public speaking, negotiating a raise, or starting their own project. These small acts seem insignificant when observed in isolation, but together they create a completely different identity. The body learns endurance, the mind learns discipline, the spirit learns confidence. It's exactly like a blade being forged. Steel doesn't become strong by being protected from fire. It becomes strong because it withstands fire repeatedly. The same happens with human beings. Virtue and Fortuna teach that no one completely controls external events, but everyone can control their level of internal preparedness. And there's something even more interesting happening during this process. As someone learns to deliberately endure discomfort, they begin to realize that the true battlefield has never been outside. The most difficult enemy to defeat has always been within their own mind, hidden behind thoughts, impulses, and reactions that few bother to question. Most people believe their greatest enemies are outside themselves: competition, economic crises, critics, life's obstacles. But a keen observer notices something different. The true enemy often resides within one's own mind. It appears as doubt before an opportunity, as fear before an important decision, as procrastination precisely when action is needed. This is why mastering the mind has become one of the rarest skills today. Those who do not govern their own thoughts will inevitably be governed by the thoughts of others. Machiavelli understood that the ability to maintain clarity under pressure is one of the greatest forms of power. Decisions based on true human nature require a mind trained to observe the facts without being dominated by the emotions of the moment. Most react, few analyze, most are offended, few observe, most are swept away by impulses, few consciously choose how to act. And this seemingly small difference ends up determining completely different destinies over the years. Because an ungoverned mind transforms any problem into a crisis, while a disciplined mind transforms crises into opportunities. Imagine the mind as a fortress surrounded by invaders. Alarming news, outside opinions, criticism, emotional manipulation, irrational fears, and instant desires try to enter daily through the gates. The question is simple: who is controlling the entrance? Strong men develop the habit of inspecting each thought before accepting it as truth. When the idea, "I am not capable," arises, they ask, "Is this a fact or just a passing emotion?" When fear arises, they analyze its usefulness before obeying it. When they receive criticism, they investigate whether there is learning in it or just noise. This posture creates something extremely valuable: psychological independence. Better to be feared than loved can be interpreted on an internal level as the need to be respected by one's own mind. When someone learns to control their impulses, they become less manipulable. They don't buy on impulse, they don't react to provocation, they don't change direction due to social pressure. The appearance of virtue may deceive multitudes, but it never deceives a disciplined conscience. And as this mental fortress strengthens, a new realization silently emerges. Controlling thoughts is only half the battle, because there is another equally important territory that needs to learn to obey the will. There's a reason why so many people have grand plans and few results. They believe discipline is purely a mental matter. It isn't. The mind may decide on a goal, but it's the body that executes the mission. And when the body gets used to constantly negotiating with the will, all ambition becomes fragile. Just observe how many promises are made daily: waking up early, training, studying, saving money, abandoning bad habits. Enthusiasm arises at night but disappears in the morning at the first sign of discomfort. At that moment, it's not intelligence that's being tested, it's the capacity for command. The body should function as an instrument of the will, not as its ruler. Machiavelli understood that no leader can command territories, resources, or loyal armies without first learning to command himself. The same principle applies here. Whoever cannot control their own appetite, their own fatigue, or their own impulses will hardly control anything greater. The problem isn't fatigue or discomfort. The problem arises when they begin to dictate the rules. And a life governed by impulses inevitably becomes a life governed by circumstances. Observe an athlete during the final minutes of a competition. The body begs to stop. Muscles burn. Breath is heavy. Yet he continues. Not because he is superhuman, but because he has trained his ability to act despite discomfort. This principle can be applied by anyone. A student who reviews the material when tired. An entrepreneur who continues working when motivation disappears. Someone who maintains a disciplined diet even surrounded by temptations. These are small, invisible victories that accumulated create a powerful identity. The calculated use of strength begins precisely there, in the ability to say no to momentary desires in favor of greater goals. Virtù and Fortuna teach that opportunities favor those who are prepared to seize them, and preparation requires a body trained to obey. Because when a great opportunity arises, there will be no time to develop discipline from scratch. It needs to already exist. And the more someone strengthens this relationship between will and action, the more they realize an uncomfortable truth. Freedom is not born from possessing everything one desires. It is born from the ability to relinquish what one desires when necessary. Few things frighten human beings as much as the idea of losing something they value. Money, status, comfort, relationships, approval, security. Most people organize their lives trying to protect these things at all costs, and that's precisely why they end up becoming hostages to them. Those who fear losing money become controlled by money. Those who fear rejection become controlled by the opinions of others. Those who fear loneliness accept relationships that weaken them. There is a profound difference between possessing something and being possessed by it. Machiavelli observed that real power requires freedom of movement, and freedom of movement only exists when someone is not emotionally chained to their own possessions, pleasures, or validations. The strong man consciously chooses what he is willing to sacrifice. He doesn't wait for life to take it from him. He decides what deserves to remain and what needs to go. This posture completely changes the dynamics of fear, because fear loses its power when it encounters someone who has already accepted the possibility of loss. And when that happens, something rare begins to emerge: independence. Consider the most influential figures in history. Many of them gave up comfort, popularity, or security to achieve something greater. Not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood a fundamental rule of reality. Every achievement requires a corresponding renunciation. An entrepreneur sacrifices leisure to build a business. An athlete sacrifices comforts to achieve excellence. A leader sacrifices popularity to make necessary decisions. The end justifies the means is often misunderstood, but there is a practical truth behind this idea. Great goals require a willingness to pay the price that others avoid paying. A simple way to develop this capacity is to practice small voluntary detachments. Spend a day without social media. Give up immediate pleasure to invest in learning. Remain silent when the ego demands an impulsive response. Each renunciation strengthens inner authority, and something curious begins to happen. The less someone depends on external things, the harder it becomes to manipulate them. The less attachment they have, the more unpredictable they become in the eyes of others. And it is precisely at this point that one of the most powerful weapons a person can develop is born: the ability to never be completely deciphered. One of the greatest advantages anyone can possess in any environment is being unpredictable. Most people live in such a repetitive way that they become completely predictable. They always react the same way, feel the same emotions in response to the same stimuli, make the same decisions, and follow the same patterns for years. Over time, anyone who is even slightly observant learns exactly how to manipulate them. Just press the right button, just provoke the right emotion, just offer the expected reward. Machiavelli deeply understood this dynamic when studying human behavior. Those who are predictable give power to others without realizing it. Those who reveal all their intentions eliminate the element of surprise. Those who constantly expose their thoughts become vulnerable to manipulation. Better to be feared than loved has a strategic layer that few understand. The unknown always generates more respect than that which can be completely controlled. When no one knows exactly how someone will react to a situation, everyone begins to act more cautiously. And this caution creates a silent form of influence that does not depend on physical strength, wealth, or social position. This doesn't mean acting chaotically or creating artificial characters. It means developing enough depth to avoid being reduced to a predictable pattern. Think of an experienced chess player. He doesn't always make the same move just because it worked before. He adapts to the scenario, analyzes the context, and changes strategy when necessary. Constant adaptability is one of the most powerful manifestations of practical intelligence. In real life, this might mean not immediately responding to every message, not revealing every plan before executing it, not displaying every emotion the instant it arises, not automatically reacting to provocations. A disciplined man observes more than he speaks, analyzes more than he reacts, listens more than he reveals. The appearance of virtue can be easily displayed, true depth cannot. And there is something that deeply frightens those who wish to control others, encountering someone who cannot be read. Because when patterns disappear, manipulations fail. When manipulations fail, control disappears. And when control disappears, a different presence emerges, a presence that doesn't need to prove anything, announce anything, or convince anyone. A presence built through a transformation that began long before anyone realized it. There comes a point when all the pieces begin to fall into place. Strength ceases to be an abstract idea and begins to manifest itself in every daily choice. The mind is no longer easily hijacked by fleeting emotions. The body no longer constantly negotiates with discipline. The fear of loss no longer dictates important decisions, and the need for approval begins to silently disappear. It is at this stage that the transformation that few achieve occurs, not an aesthetic transformation, not a superficial change intended to impress others, but a profound internal reconstruction. Machiavelli observed that the most difficult individuals to defeat were rarely the loudest. They were those who possessed a rare combination of clarity, discipline, and self-control, people who understood reality as it is, not as they would like it to be. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals, ceases to be merely an external strategy and transforms into a philosophy of life. The individual begins to see their strengths without arrogance and their weaknesses without denial. They don't need to create fantasies to protect their ego. They don't need to pretend to be something they are not. And that's precisely why it develops a presence that few can ignore. When a tempered mind, a disciplined body, and unwavering behavior unite, something extremely powerful is born. It's not about aggression. It's not about gratuitous domination. It's about stability. While others panic, he remains lucid. While others follow crowds, he analyzes. While others depend on motivation, he depends on discipline. Virtù and fortuna still exist, but now fortune finds someone prepared. The calculated use of force becomes natural. Decisions based on true human nature replace dangerous illusions. His own loyal armies cease to represent merely external allies and begin to symbolize solid habits, non-negotiable principles, and values built over time. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. True strength has never been about controlling others. It has always been about ceasing to be controlled. Because he who masters his own mind, governs his own body, accepts necessary sacrifices, and remains adaptable in the face of chaos, becomes a rare thing in the modern world. Someone who cannot be easily bought, easily intimidated, or easily manipulated. And it is precisely at this point that most people realize something uncomfortable. The transformation never ends. It only begins a new level of the journey, where each challenge reveals an even stronger version of the person who decided to take control of their own life. Now, the question isn't whether these principles work. The question is, what will you do with them going forward? Because knowledge, by itself, doesn't transform anyone. The world is full of intelligent people living mediocre lives. People who know exactly what they need to do, but remain trapped in the same habits, the same fears, and the same excuses. The difference between those who remain stagnant and those who build an extraordinary life isn't in the amount of information they possess. It's in the ability to act when acting is uncomfortable. Throughout this video, you realize that true strength has nothing to do with appearance, money, or influence. It is born when someone takes full responsibility for their own life, when they stop expecting reality to be fair, when they learn to master their mind instead of being mastered by it, when they train their body to obey their will, when they accept sacrifice as an inevitable part of growth, and when they become adaptable enough to remain steadfast even as everything around them changes. Machiavelli understood something that remains true centuries later. Most people live reacting to events. Very few create events. Most are pushed by circumstances. Very few choose the direction. And it is precisely this difference that separates those who command their own lives from those who spend their lives being commanded. So reflect honestly. What weakness do you continue to feed every day? What discomfort have you been avoiding for months or years? What habit is silently stealing your potential? What decision do you know you need to make but keep putting off? Because transformation doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you stop negotiating with what you already know you need to do. And perhaps the most important question of all is this. In 5 years, will you be the person who has mastered your own mind? Or will you continue to be a victim of those who learned to do so before you? Write your answer in the comments. I want to know which lesson from this video impacted you the most and what change you plan to implement today. And if you want to continue learning about strategy, power, discipline, human psychology, and Machiavelli's teachings applied to modern life, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because the next videos are made for those who have decided to stop surviving and start leading.